Hello, this is Culture Train, the very first one in the year of our Lord, 2022. This is Culture Train, reaching you from Spirit of Nigeria Radio. And I'm going to announce eventually why we look different in a different environment. Anoche, welcome. I won't tell you the secret now, but I'll let you know eventually. Because you've been in this studio before. So you now see something that is different. But let me welcome everybody to 2022. We hope that this year, even though it's an election year, will be different because we know the stress that we have gone through and we know the stress that is coming. In fact, the stress has started. But let me start like this. Anote, how come you have not gone to meet the man in Nassau Rock to declare your presidential aspiration? Everybody's going there.
I'm telling you.
When are you doing yours?
We are still consulting our friends and the political juggernaut in the culture section.
Please make sure you go to consult because only that man's vote will get you in. I'm sure you know that. So you have to go and dobale. You don't dobale, you don't get it. I'm sure you know that. Nice to see you, Anote. I don't think I've seen you this year 2022. No, not yet.
We have not. Yes, Happy New Year to you, sir.
Because you ran to your village. You went to go and do to go and meet village people. But I like the fact that you traveled and you went for a literary. You went on a literary trip because that was the main reason why you went there, right? You and Associate Professor Dr. Gagai Forward, right?
Was there?
Yeah, I mean that the year started on a very good note for you.
Oh, definitely, yes.
Okay. In fact, can we speak briefly about that? Because our man BAYODE is not here yet, but it's very close by. What really happened in that plan? What was it supposed to mean?
Okay. A man who runs the bookshop chain, Engineer Anthony Abokene, opened a new sales outlet of his bookshop in Asaba. The man started the bookshop. He actually petroleum engineering, company some years back, 2006 precisely.
Okay.
And then he went into bookshop business, into selling books. Of course, it was a lot of hue and cry from the family and friends. Why would you leave such a lucrative job to go and sell books in our peculiar Nigerian environment? But the man was rugged, was dogged in his decision. He stuck to it, because he said his father was a teacher, his mother a teacher, his grandfather a teacher, his great-grandfather also a teacher. Okay. So he has lived his life among people who have been in love with books. And so he also loved books. And he wanted to take the gospel of books to the entire country.
Yeah.
So he started in Warri, of all places, in 2006, at a time when Warri was up in flames because of ethnic, tribal wars between the Robo, the Ijo, and the Shakiri.
Yeah.
So, when he did that, when he started, he thought of a way. He saw that, look, if these people who were on the streets fighting, killing themselves, burning and chasing away all the companies in Warri at the time, if they had read books or if they were reading books, they would not have time to go and be picking up cutlasses and guns to shoot at each other. So it thought that books could be a liberating factor that could emancipate the mind, and get people to be better preoccupied rather than violent. So that was when he started that bookshop business in Warri. And at the time, so he said he had to organize a peace concert, brought in all the A-list artists at the time, huge concert in Warri at the Shell Hall, and it was a huge success.
Wow.
He followed it up with an invitation to the Nobel laureate, Professor Wole Soyinka, to also give a lecture on nation building and the way forward. And from a series of other events, even the minister of the gospel, Pastor Sam Adeyemi, so a series of lectures, a series of conferences, to try and get people off the streets into something more meaningful, more engaging, rather than killing themselves, rather than violence at the time. So credit,
Okay.
Yes. After that, we got into a bigger project.
Okay.
We wanted to build a Warri City library, a library for Warri. As you know, all the state libraries, a lot of them have collapsed, and the government
even in Lagos,
No, in Delta. Back in Delta,
I said even in Lagos, everywhere. I mean, where are the libraries? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where are the libraries really? It's like it's a nation where we're in some kind of reverse order at governmental level. Yeah. In fact, let me ask you.
Hello.
Hello. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Oh, okay. So the whole idea of yourself, Ogagai Fodo, and the other people who went there was to read from your book, or was there some other program that was tied to it? And I hope young people were invited. I'm just trying to get to understand why you had to spend so much money to bring you from Lagos. Okay, guys in Delta, no.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm asking that. I mean, what was the special thing about it all that that I had to bring you from Lagos to?
Oh, now, so after those initial starts of his booktop chain, he took ill. Then eventually, this was around 2015, 2016. Okay. So when he got back on his feet again, at the time when he was ill, his bookshops shut down because there was, Nigerian businesses.
Hello?
If the owner is not there, he's on Abuja. Hello?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I hear you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He opened one of the branches at the Sheraton Hotel in Abuja.
Okay.
So this time around is the Abuja sales outlet, and he chose the international airport to do it, the departure lounge
of the airport. Okay.
So yes, of course, you know how it is. Book matters don't quite get the mileage that people really want. But it was quite a sizable audience.
Okay.
A few young persons were there. Of course, airport security too was also an issue at the time. Were there. They didn't want too many people, COVID.
Because of COVID. Yes.
Yes. So got people there. A sizable. You know how expensive those environments can be in terms of space issues, but it's quite a nice space that it's got.
Okay.
So I read the poem from my works.
Wow.
The Flames of Olomoro, which is
that's the unpublished collection, right?
It's unpublished. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. I know you have collections coming up, and
that's true.
Okay. Now last year, one of the things that you and I discussed, and why we're continuing this, is that and even why we're doing today's program, there was this huge movement around reading, no less spurred by the network of book promoters and reading, network of book clubs and reading promoters in Nigeria. I have to master that name. Mr. Richard Mama will not forgive me. Now, there was a lot of that going on last year. And now here's somebody opening a bookshop and inviting people. There's a birth of Abibima by, this new publishing outfit that is threatening to bring back African writers series. And so there's this huge movement around reading and the book ecosystem. Is this a flash in the sun, or are we seeing some kind of resurgence or renaissance? How will you capture that as a literary editor that you are, a literary activist?
I think the resurgence actually started a few years back now. It's certainly not a flash in the pan, because even as I've had occasion to speak with a lot of persons within the system, publisher like Egosa Maswen of a narrative landscape.
Yes.
I've spoken with the young man in Ibadan, Sergio Badamoshi, with with his knowledge outfit.
Okay.
Fogafo is coming out with a new collection by Bookcraft, the publisher of Wole Soyinka in Ibadan. Even next week, Wednesday, a biography on the late Gamaliel Onosode.
Yes. There's a reading program,
written by Professor Femi Shofi at the booksellers in Ibadan. So there's a whole lot of activities going on, and it's certainly not a flash in the pan. In fact, people are pushing back on illiteracy with a lot of reading materials. This morning on Smooth FM, which is what they do every Saturday, Judith Atibi used to handle it. But now that Shokwe Martins is back, she anchored it this morning. That one is every Saturday, book reviews on, they call it smooth book reviews. So a whole lot is happening. And then you look at, like what you mentioned, the Abibi Man's that's going to publish African Writers series. That will generate a whole new conversation within the African continent about books. So a lot of things are coming up, either they are underground or they are already in the offing and being brought out. So for the book, those who wish it dead, perhaps, have a long wait.
But I wish I could be as optimistic as you are. A lot of these things are happening, but there are no state policies to drive this. Just imagine the experience of the owner of the bookshop that just opened in Asaba. He fell ill, and that almost put a stop to the I look at my friend the Creamed Library. Look at what he has been able to establish in his own little corner there. And I'm thinking, okay, if he is not there, who is sustaining that? I look at my sister Afumi Lori, who is doing I read, and I'm asking if she's not there, who is going to sustain it? Then I look at the activities of our association, like Association of Nigerian Authors. All these different bodies that are there to protect the interests of the writer. And I'm thinking, what will happen if, how can they get more involved to energize this movement that seems to be coming? I like the fact that the network is so solid, it's serious, and they are doing stuff. Because we were a part of their program in November. So, so I give credit to these activities coming up, but are they going to be sustained? That is the thing. Especially as we move deeper into a crisis reading economic environment, economic era, because that is going to get tough, whether we like it or not. So I don't know what your observation has been.
I think he has a reading program on Monday, next tomorrow.
Who's that?
The Creamed guy at you mentioned earlier.
Oh, yes.
He has a reading program on Monday. He plays opposite the Christian College, yes, at Idimo.
Okay, yeah.
For those who
I like what he did at Christmas. Let me welcome. I don't know if he has joined us. Olalekan Ari Ajia, another book activist who has been there all this while, is joining us now. You're welcome, Ari Ajia. We use the Zoom just to make sure that we have a recording. Our listeners are out there, and you're welcome to Culture Train on Spirit of Nigeria Radio. So a lot of people are listening to us. Eventually, I'll get you to introduce yourself because I can't. It doesn't seem to be on video yet, and it's still muted. So I'm asking that.
Back to your question.
Yeah, I said all this movement. Did you get the question?
Yes, I do. I did.
Okay. Yes.
Now, that's exactly the problem which we're always talking about. The absence of continuity in most businesses in Nigeria generally. It's not just about the book sector. You know, and so there's a founder who funds a business, and then he holds on to it so tenaciously at the detriment of its continuity. So, you know, some of us are suggesting that, look, you could imbibe the model of maybe not AMA perhaps, because that is an association. Like this network of book clubs and reading promoters in Nigeria.
Yes.
It's an association of like minds of different book clubs in the country. A lot more are joining who are not there.
Yes.
And so the body, so here, a body is elected. So it's not a one man's business. Where if the man is indisposed or is not there, everything grounds to a halt. No. So we're advising people who are having these cultural ideas to have a body, a board. You know, yes, you are the founder, we know, but get people who will be around you to do the job if for whatever reason you are not there. So when you do that, you know, these people will continue. So people need to lay down structures that would survive them.
Okay.
But if you cling it to, if you hold it so tight to yourself and not let it go, of course, you're going to kill it yourself. It has happened to several even big businesses in Nigeria where the owners, as soon as they left the scene, they crumble. It's the same thing with the cultural sector as well. So if you find an association, or sorry, a production house, for instance, to perform plays, you know, get people around you who hold responsible positions and will do the job if for whatever reason you are not there.
Yeah.
It's key.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Even for the network, we were one of the big revelation of last year was the unveiling of the network. And we can't stop thanking Richard and the people that is working with in the network.
Exactly.
Now, you remember the question that came during the Lagos Book and Art Festival, that the network itself, how does the network sustain itself? Okay, you are going to have a lot more book clubs joining up. In fact, I attended one or two in Lekki too. You're going to have all of them coming up and joining up on this, but how does the network itself get its groove? I mean, how does it get empowered? Do you think they should have some kind of network with some government bodies, or because it would be very sad if the network existing now, we're very happy about it, and if it gets tired out, as many initiatives in Nigeria. Because when people say, okay, network of book club, and they say that there's no pecuniary gain coming directly to them, you know, people have a way of getting tired of some of this initiative.
Exactly. Now, that's where the network is a bit peculiar and distinct from, you know, other associations. First and foremost, they survive because there are existing clubs that have decided to come together to form the larger body of book clubs in Nigeria. These book clubs, they are some by individuals, some by owned by 2 or 3 persons running them. So they are doing their own things in their own, wherever they are located across the country. So, but they've decided now to come together to join a bigger body for a larger reach. So the activities, their events and programming can have bigger impact. Right now, the campaign is for each local government to have at least a library. Okay. You know, so that's a major campaign that is on now. For each local government to have at least a library that is a library. That's worth calling the names, not some of those things the state governments are running now. You know, so each affiliate club contributes a token, you know, to the larger body. And then each state now, there's a program. Last year they held the first conference in Uyo.
In Uyo, yeah.
So, yes, each year there's a host city. There's a book club host city. You know, so a state like Lagos, for instance, all the book clubs can come together, to organize themselves to host the entire network of book clubs across the country.
Yeah.
So in Lagos, Lagos will be the host city next year, 2023.
Okay.
The same year that Ghana will also be the host city of the world.
Capital of the book capital of the world. World book capital.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In fact, I'm even good that you mentioned that. Can you imagine that all the gain that we got there, we didn't even capitalize on that. We left the poor woman alone, Coco Kalango, to be the only one to carry the body. And now, I mean, there's a limit to what one person can do. I mean, they also tell you about sustaining a dream, starting a dream or having a dream and sustaining it, which is the fear that I have when this initiative, when they come up. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, go ahead. I broke into your thought. Yes.
No. Yes, it's very good at that point you raised about, the country leaving the entire burden on Coco Kalango, Mrs. Coco Kalango, and a Rainbow Book Club to carry. Now, the example that Ghana has set with this, their host, they're winning being the host capital as Accra, Ghana.
Yes.
Is that it is not by the government of Accra or whichever state Accra is under, but by the entire federal government of Ghana.
Oh, so there's a what unit. They did?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there's something. There's a unit in the Ministry of, the unit cuts across education, culture, and information.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they were the ones that bidded for the right to host the World Book Capital.
Okay.
And they got, so it's actually under a federal government, not the state government like we had it in Port Harcourt in 2014. Okay. So the hosting will be the burden of the entire the Ghanaian government. So though Ghana may be the host city, but I read from what the director of that unit said, there is the entire country that will actually benefit from hosting the World Book Capital, not just Ghana, which is the host. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because part of the problem that the Nigerian one suffered again is this continuity. The moment another government came in, they were not just interested. I even wonder what happened to the Port Harcourt Literary Society that was formed as part of the special purpose vehicle to carry the dream forward and things.
No, yeah. Yes, Port Harcourt Literary City is still on. It's actually a club. I don't really think it's a government body. It's a young man, David.
Oh, the Literary Society.
Yes, there's a young man, David Chukwe. Well, I can't remember the surname now, but he's actually the one who owns that body, and they host events every month. They host their readings every month at the Alliance Française in Port Harcourt. Okay. So it's actually doesn't have anything to do with the Book Club or the hosting of World Book Capital. No. Okay. So, like you said, it's a continuity issue. Okay. As soon as the last government of Rotimi Amechi left, the current government didn't see a reason to continue, with that project, and so it died. And even Mrs. Kalango had to relocate from Port Harcourt entirely. So right now, without the Literary Society organizing events, Port Harcourt will probably be a dead zone in terms of book and culture matter.
Okay. Well, let me just again welcome our brother Ari Ajia. I've told him that he can also contribute if he wants to. Richard Bama just sent me a message that he's having problem with network. Well, Ari Ajia, you're welcome to Culture Train on Spirit of Nigeria Radio, where we broadcast to the diaspora. We bring them up to speed with what is happening in our culture world here. The Zoom is usually used just to make sure that we have some recording. Otherwise, the listenership is out there in the cloud, and we have quite a lot of them. Yeah, so feel free to contribute, because I know that you've been, in fact, you're a veteran literary activist yourself, but you've always been very much around literary affair, and you're a writer yourself. So anytime you want to contribute, just let me know. Fortunately, as I was just talking, the guest of honor came in. So we just walked. I was going to say that that we just continue this our banter while we wait for the man who has made history, who is the superstar on the yeah. This is welcoming BAYODE. Allow me.
How are you?
Welcome, Precious. Allow me, BAYODE. Is that is the man who has made history for Nigeria, but we've not given him all the accolade that he deserves. And then and my executive producer said that this man who won who have done this thing, they won the marathon reading, the Guinness World Record. Why don't we bring him? Because he has to raise funds for the project attached to, because the main thing is not the reading. It is the project around it. And he said so much when he appeared on, I think, Arise TV. So that's why we said that you should come today to start here, because we broadcast more to the diaspora. The Zoom is just to make sure that we have record. So I have Mr. Anote here, and I have Ari Ajia, who I'm not sure you know him, but he's also a writer, a literary activist too. So, but we have people listening out there. So this is to formally welcome the guest of honor today. Okay, Treasure.
Yeah.
OLAWUNMI BAYODE. The man who has, anyway, you will introduce himself, but if you just Google his name, you see what will jump out at you. Really? But there's a reason why we brought him today, and you're very much welcome. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So we're just talking about literary activity. Anytime Anote is there, we talk more about literary and not generally about culture. So let me now recalibrate. This is Culture Train, reaching you from Spirit of Nigeria Radio, where we bring the diaspora up to speed. My name is Jaman Anipulako. If you are listening to us out there, we thank you for tuning in every time. And we apologize for the break in the last 2-3 editions. And I will explain why we had to do that. Actually, I was rehearsing something in my mind this morning, and I was telling Anote that I'll break the secret. We are in a brand new studio. We left the old studio that you came to. So we had to relocate, we had to shift everything back to another studio, which is actually more spacious. Okay, we have more space, but this can take about 6 people as you go. And I like to call you BAYODE, because I like the sound of the name. Because you are a #1 in so many areas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you are the first guest of Culture Train this year.
Thank you.
You are the first guest of Culture Train in this brand new studio.
Wow.
And then you are the first one to do the marathon. 2018 was the first time.
Yes, 2018.
And then, so you are a man of first. So we honor you.
Thank you, sir.
We honor you for what you are doing. And the dream that you have, the desire that you have will be realized.
Amen.
I'm sure.
Thank you.
So those who are listening to us out there, this again is Treasure OLAWUNMI BAYODE, the man who has just entered the Guinness World Record for the 2nd time. Just that this one was even more, over 480 hours. And he did it for so many days. When we were sleeping at home, they were busy reading. And not just that, he brought 4 other young people. Yeah. Is there a reason why they are all women?
Yes.
Okay. So welcome Richard Mama too. Yeah.
So there was a reason for that.
Okay.
You know, the point we have the issue of discipleship in Nigeria and mentorship, right?
Okay.
So if I have done before, I believe others can do it.
Okay.
So, and more so, I thought about giving space to women, right? Why not give them the space? They are capable, they have the capability, they have the ability, they have the tenacity. Okay. So more so, we also use that medium to also promote the girl child education. Because if you look at the 4 ladies that joined me, one was from Bayelsa State, one was from Imo State, 2 were from Borno State.
Wow.
Now in that state, we have the issue of terrorism, Boko Haram issue. Yes. Many of the children are in IDP camp. There is no education because, of course, maybe they've lost their parents or they've lost a father or a mother or both. So there's nobody to send to school, right? And so just so that we can boost their morale, that despite all these negativity around you, you can still do something good. One of those ladies, Zainab Muhammad Mustafa, she's an orphan. Okay. She lost both father and mother. Wow. But now she's a lecturer. She has a BS in physics.
Wow.
Yes. That means she's doing for herself. The fact that she does not have the parents. So I brought those ladies together to showcase them that Nigeria is not all about gloom and doom.
Okay.
We have people that can think beyond money, that can think, beyond material things. So let's showcase these ladies and let us see what the world will say about them.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. As I've said, you are a man of many firsts. So we honor you for that. And I'm sure at the right time, this nation will honor you. Because if not honor you, I mean, it's not enough for some commissioner or some. It's not what they say. It is the policy that they can put in on ground to support what you are doing. So you're welcome again. This is Culture Train, and we have Treasure OLAWUNMI BAYODE on Culture Train to talk about this humongous dream. It's something that many of us will not dare. I won't dare it to read so many. So even finish reading a book now at this age is a bit difficult for me. Now to read, and you are reading loud.
Yeah, loud.
You know, reading loud is tough.
Extremely tough.
Extremely tough because you are hearing your own voice and you have to control your mind. All the senses are involved.
And there is no way you can read aloud without assimilating it. So as you are. At the point in time, I was reading the story. I think the book title was President Mahmoud.
Okay.
Right? At a point in time in that book, I was crying.
Wow.
Because the book was particularly talking about me. So it's not that we're reading aloud just for reading. We're also reading to ourselves. So there was comprehension, there was assimilation, right?
Wow.
But people must hear what we are reading.
Was there any? I mean, I'm breaking the thing now because we lost some time. I know you would like to find, and I'm happy that Richard Mama is
that's my guy.
Yes, we've been talking about him. We've been talking about the network of reading promoters, the book clubs and reading promoters. I mean, for me, that's one of the best
thing that has happened in Nigeria.
In Nigeria in a long while.
In a long
what Richard has done with his team,
I agree.
And is pushing it. And we're thinking of how our system can support him. The reason we do this program is to get the system to be of support. I mean, the video we share to some places where I'm sure some of them will be. We also have sister stations who would like to join us and things. Before I will go to the background of why you are doing what you're doing, just give us the breakdown of what happened this last edition in a few. I mean, from conception to you can do that in the next 3-4 minutes.
So in 2018, after the my reading quest, where I read for 6 days, so of course I didn't bargain for fame. I just stepped out to do something that nobody wants to do, promote reading culture in another dimension. Right? I didn't step out for money, nor for I want to be popular. No. All those ones came. So after the quest, of course, there were many requests to come and speak at conferences, at programs, to school students and the like. I remember at this particular program at Park in Abeokuta. There was this debate competition, and of course, school students were invited to debate, and I was the guest of honor and the guest speaker for that particular program. So after my 1 hour talk, a boy rose up and to ask a question, and he says, "Sir, wow, you really challenged me. I like what you did, and I like what you're doing. However, you encourage us to always read." I have a problem, sir. Very articulate boy, JSS3, extremely articulate. He says, "Sir, but where are the libraries and where are the books? My parents cannot afford the books, and we don't have libraries that are housing these books. So how do I read?" That question, that 10 seconds question nullified my 1 hour speech. Because if I'm here talking about reading, encourage students to read, but we don't have the books, we don't have the library, then I'm a joker. Because we are not giving them the tool to do what we're asking them to do. It's like a parent who is asking the child to read.
And there are no books.
And there are no books to read. So that means that you are not serious. You are telling this boy to achieve what is impossible. How would they read when they don't have access to books? So that was why. So over that night, I couldn't sleep. I said, okay. Now, libraries are built by rich people or by the government. Now, is our government ready to do this? Truth be told, yes, our government ought to do this thing, but the fact is that the government is overwhelmed.
That is
with many requests, road, agriculture, so many things.
Yeah.
And I tell people who cares to listen, sir, Nigeria is a poor country.
We shouldn't delude ourselves.
The earlier we come to that reality, the better for us. Nigeria is a poor country. We don't have money. We don't. The question is, what is the value of the richest bank in Nigeria? What is the value to know a rich country? You start from the banking sector, right? How much of inflow are we having in our banking sector?
Yeah.
Is it in hundreds of? How many banks has declared $1 billion in profit in Nigeria in the last 50 years? How many companies had given tax of $1 billion, $100 million in the last 20 years in Nigeria? Right? So if you don't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 companies that is giving tax in the excess of $100 billion, then what I'm talking about? We don't have money. And the government depends on this tax. Because I don't see all as a sort of revenue to the country. Yeah. I see it as a sort of revenue to some people, some individuals. Yeah. The money is in their pockets. So
the tax.
So the tax is the job. Yeah. Yes, you understand? So our government is overwhelmed, either in the states, the local government. Anyway,
There are no local government.
So we have only the states and the federal. So I say, you know what? Let me use my little platform to do something about this problem.
Okay.
Let me see if I can be able to pull people together, resources together. Let us start with a library is a social space that should be available, accessible to everybody, either digital library or conventional library. Yeah. The library should be available and accessible to every person. Yeah. I live in Ikorodu. I give myself as an example. I live in Ikorodu. For me to use the library in Ikorodu, I will spend 1,000 naira.
Wow.
To go transport to go and to come back. Now, if an adult will go, we pay that money. Now, also including the risk of transportation and the stress. How much more school children? How much more the youth? Number one, with the parent, let's assume a parent has 4 children. Can the parent afford 4,000 naira 3 times in a day for the children to use a library? Now, can these children even go by themselves to the library? So a library should be available and accessible. Library should be a walking distance away. At least we should have at least one library in every political ward in the country if we are a serious nation. Okay. Every person that made history in the world, every person that have been able to do something with themselves are readers, either in sports, in education, in health, in any sphere of life. You must first be a reader. So how will you read when you have access to books to read? Yeah. So that was the reason I came up with that particular thought. So we call the program Read to Build.
Yes.
We read to build libraries.
Okay.
We read to raise funds to build libraries. So that those people, those children, those youth, those adults that will read in the library will read to build their own lives and ultimately build the country. That is the essence of read to build.
Read to build. Okay.
We call it read because reading builds a nation.
Of course.
If you look at the top 10,
you can't build a nation without reading.
Yeah, if you look at the top 10 index of the most progressive country in the world, right? And if you look at the World Reading Index, they are top 10. Reading has a relationship with a country's development. Because when a country reads, the country is on a path of progress because the citizens will have progressive thoughts. They can contribute positively to the growth of the country.
Okay.
But when we don't read, when we don't have access to valuable books, to valuable information that can propel me as an individual to go for it, right? To take, for instance, every country in the world, they devote billions of dollars to research and development. How much have Nigeria put aside for R&D in the last 50 years?
Okay.
In any sphere of our lives.
Thank you very much for unpacking of all of that. So on that day, because I want to leave the next set of questions to my colleague Noche. At that event, you had 480 hours. How did you manage to that? Those who are listening to us count us. I'm sure they're getting the vibe of what you're saying.
Oh, okay, so for the quest, we had guidelines from Guinness World Record. So the guidelines said that each of us, we are 5. Each of us cannot read less than 30 minutes. And you cannot read more than 3 hours. So not less than 30 minutes and not more than 30 minutes. At a go, yes. So that means that I can read for 30 minutes, and that person will come over read for 30 minutes or read for 3 hours.
Okay,
so and that person, so it was sequential. So when you are done, and that person comes, then I come back to read for those 20 days. Either in the morning or in the night or in the afternoon, the reading must just continue.
And the person must not read more than or less than 30 hours.
Must not read less than 30 minutes and must not read more than 3 hours.
3 hours.
Yes.
In every day.
Not every day now. That means that at a sit, you must not read less than 30 minutes, and you must not read more than 3 hours. Okay. So that means that each of us we are having like 4 sessions or 3 sessions or 2 sessions in a day, right? So when I read for 3 hours, another person comes in, and that person comes in, and that person. When the cycle is complete, I come back.
Then you come back and read. Oh, okay. So each of you must have read over 2 hours.
Yes.
Per day.
Per day, yes.
Per day, okay. Now, let me ask my final journalistic question before the editor comes in. Now, what was it goes 2 ways.
Okay.
The experiences of those young ladies, and I'm sure we're going to have an edition where all of you will be back if you don't mind. And then the response since you finished that. Since you did that,
the lady.
So you made the Guinness World Record.
Yeah,
you broke it.
We broke because the last record was 368 hours thereabout and 13 seconds. So we did 480 hours.
Wow!
Right.
So that is
now that's 20 days, because our intention is to raise funds to start with 20 libraries.
Okay.
That was the reason we did 40 days. Okay. Now we followed the guideline.
Okay.
We did everything according to book. Okay. But because of the corona pandemic and London is in lockdown, offices are not opening. So normally it should take 12 weeks for them to revert, to look through the video and the like. But now it has to take like 21 weeks because of the volume of the 480 hours. Wow. Do you understand? So of course we know that we followed the guidelines. We followed the guidelines, even though it was not easy. We're consuming like 50 liters of diesel every 6 hours.
Wow. And so who paid for all of that?
I did. Now, our budget was 24.5 million for the 20 days.
That's amazing.
The states, Lagos State government, I want to give them a very round of applause. Lagos State government, Lagos State government gave us 4.5 million. So imagine where we were, but the show must go on. We must just do it. We must do what we have to do what we need to do.
So you have to use your personal resources.
My personal resources.
Apart from even flying those people.
I'm over broke. I have to be calling friends. Please, I need diesel. I need that. Wow. I have to be reaching out to my political friends, my Rep members, Jimmy Benson, just calling them, and because they supported me. They love what we were doing, of course, and they reach out because they know that I'm not begging for food, I'm not begging for money for.
And they
were seeing what we are doing. So of course they reach out, but the majority of the money came from my personal pocket just to ensure that these 20 days, not only the diesel now, I was feeding 70 people every day.
70?
Yeah, Mr. Note saw them. 70 breakfast and dinner.
Wow.
Because we had over 280 volunteers, right, to observe, to control, to do so many things. So I was, of course, we didn't pay them. We paid some. We paid some of them.
Yeah. So what would the cost of feeding alone is
70 people for 20 days. Wow. Not 70 children now, 70 adults. That was crazy.
But later I'm going to ask you what led you to this madness, in case your madam is listening. Because this is madness. When you talk about madness, this is it. So I don't know if Richard is listening. I want another to you are the literary editor here, so you can take it before the Baba book promoter himself, reading promoter himself will come. So, Richard, we can't see your voice or hear your video. Anyway, I'm not a god.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'll get my video on.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Yes.
A big congratulations to you, Bayo, for
thank you,
making Nigeria proud. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you also for reading my small book, Eagle Goes to Farm.
No, and funny enough, that book was one of the best books that we read.
Wow.
The ladies were saying, wow. You know, when the book came in, they're like, which book is this? But when after reading the book, they were like, oh, fantastic book, very interesting. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you for putting your thoughts on paper.
Thank you. Okay, so yes, I want to find out how you selected those young women. Two were all the way from Borno,
yes,
where the insurgency war, insecurity and all that, and then one from Imo State.
Bayelsa.
You know, what modalities did you adopt to harness them, to bring them to the show?
Sorry, let me before he answers, let me welcome SEUN AWOBAJO. This is another man who is engaging in practical madness. That's what he's doing. He's even lost his. I don't even know how his family cooks.
Wow.
Because he has left everything that he ought to do, personal development, to develop this body of kids who are with him there. I don't know how he does it. I mean, SEUN, you are welcome, but we'll get back to you. We're in the first session. Hello, SEUN. SEUN, I think it's having network. Anyway, just go ahead. They are not there.
Yeah. So how did you select them? Yes.
Yeah. The initial plan was to start with a competition to select, or as we put it, audition them, right? But when we stepped out, people were asking us, what is in it for me? What's the reward? Is there money? Is there this? Is there that? And I told them in 2018, when I stepped out to do this, money was on my mind and fame was not on my mind. I set out to make a difference. I set out to draw attention to the issue of reading around the country. So, but the point is that when there is no reward, people are not interested. And that's one of the problems of our country, no more selflessness. So, but in the long run, these 4 ladies were based on recommendation. People in different places saw their passion for reading, they saw their selflessness, and they recommended them. And when I spoke to them personally, I saw the passion in them. They were asking me, when are we starting? When is the program coming up? So I said, okay, fantastic. So I can work with these 4 ladies. So it was those 4 were based on recommendations.
Okay.
Okay.
So
yeah. So
you have more because Richard is
not for now.
Oh, okay. So let me bring in the president of the Network of Book Clubs and Reading Promoters of Nigeria to join us, and welcome Anthony Kande. SEUN AWOBAJO joined us briefly. He said he will be back. This is Culture, Train on Spirit of Nigeria Radio, and our special guest is Treasure OLAWUNMI BAYODE, who is I call him the Guinness World Record man because he's broken record twice now. First in 2018 and now in 2021. He's been, I mean, what he's doing, 480 hours of reading. And I mean, I don't know how he did it, but anyway, you're welcome. Let me say again that our listenership is in the cloud. The Zoom is for us to have record of what we're doing. So we thank those who are listening to us. We are still on Culture, Train on Spirit of Nigeria Radio, where we bring the diaspora up to speed. I always like to say that the reason we do this program is so that those of our brothers and sisters, our parents and friends who are outside there will not be overwhelmed by all the bad news, because Nigeria seems to be one big cauldron of bad news. It's not only bad news that is happening here. It is same in this same Nigeria that BAYODE just broke Guinness World Record. Just that there are so many people who are doing stuff and they are getting their groove going on. So many things are happening here. So we like to do this to encourage our people out there to know that things are still happening around there. So Before we take the next round of questions, now that Richard is there, I think Seun is joining us again. As I was saying, SEUN AWOBAJO is the founder of the Footprints of David Academy. And he's been training young people, kids. Many of them, in fact, they just appeared on BBC recently, where they were telling their story that they could have been armed robbers or whatever. But dance, it saved them through dance, and I has even broadened it into art. That is, they even produce their own products and co. So Seun, you're welcome. I think he's having problem to connect with us. Anthony Conde, you're welcome. I noticed too I dropped off. Internet is just a bit, people come in and they drop off. So the president of we call you the Baba leading promoter, Richard. You were part of the experience. You backed him up. Before you came, myself and Anote, we spoke for almost 30 minutes about the work of the network, what we're doing, and we're tying it. Unfortunately, you were not here then, so but I'll share the video with you. So you backed this whole experiment with BAYODE. So what was the motivation for the network joining? I know that you're a network of book club and reading promoters. Is that the reason why you joined, or is there something else that was the catch?
Okay, thank you very much. I think it's important that you made the connection with the first event, that is the 2018 event, because I think also at that time the network had not started, but a number of us personally also backed the engagement, at that time, which speaks to the fact that, one reader to another reader, reading is such fun that when you find people enmeshed in the community of reading, they tend to, just want to stay there. You can take the Bible story of the disciple, saying during the Mount of Transfiguration, saying, why don't we just build tents and stay here, continually, in that sense. So when readers meet readers, they bond, they identify, in that sense, because they have that chemistry. So I think that's the first part. So on a personal note, I've known BAYODE as a reader, and I've known him in a number of other, situations and engagements, to be, a quite dedicated and hardworking, person in himself. So
thank you, sir.
There's been no hesitation, in encouraging and supporting his ministry, in that sense.
I like that was the Ministry of Reading.
Yeah, it's a ministry.
It's a ministry of reading. That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Yeah, the gift that he has. Just like you noted, it's not everybody that can read aloud for such a sustained period. I'm not sure I can handle it myself.
Yeah.
So when I see people who can, when he put out the call for volunteers, I looked at it and I advised myself that, look, you're the people who are stronger.
It's not for me.
Go ahead and do it. I read, but I'm not too sure that I can do the challenge, in that sense. Yeah. So everyone should find his own level. And if you can't be in the field, then you should cheer up the Eagles, when they are playing against Tunisia and the other teams. So I think the second part of my response would be that as a network, we have a group policy that any of our members that does anything, we must reach out. Because it's like, if your member is doing something, you are also the one doing it. We are talking about the general Nigerian field. We have to support each other. So as soon as he came out with this, we started passing the word around. How do we, that, it's going to be unforgivable for network members in the Lagos area if they don't go there physically in person. So we arranged for a group visit. We did personal visits. We stayed, just to cheer up the process, participate, help to find books, dropped in a few coins where we could find them, we don't have all that liquidity, but, we just tried to pitch in here and there, But I think the amazing part of it is that it was indeed a great, experience and an encounter, and it's one that this nation, should be very proud of, very proud of.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Richard. I trust you to put everything in context. I always like to say that, look, long before many of us started doing what we're doing now, Richard was there with Synergy Educational. He was doing like a solo, right? In fact, many of us would go there, why does he do this? And then we were encouraged to also start Lagos Book and Art Festival. And it's been there consistently. That to tell you the power of vision. So thank you. Because our other guest is there, SEUN AWOBAJO. SEUN, I don't know if he's hearing us now. I was saying, I was paying credit to you because we're all in the same community, that you two, just like BAYODE, you've left your life to lead a life that will impact on other people. And we thank you very much for what you're doing. We know that you'll be rewarded. Don't worry. When you see those kids when they become adults in future and they start pointing at you that man made me. I have people that I point to. I point to Benton. I say, if not for that man, I don't know where I would have been. So we will be taking you pretty soon. But currently, we're dealing with Mr. Treasure OLAWUNMI BAYODE, the Guinness World Record man. That's what I like to call him. And then Baba Promoter is there. And I've just been told that Anthony Conde is actually Adedapo Adegboyega Conde from Pyramid Educational Advancement Foundation. We build libraries in underserved. You see, this is how to connect. We build libraries in underserved communities and public schools. Oh, okay, one of your guys. And I hope SEUN can connect to Mr. Adedapo Adegboyega Conde, because the build library, you can see the work that SEUN does. Those children, young people, you know. I saw the governor jumped on set. He didn't know when he was dancing and behaving like on the 56th birthday. Welcome, SEUN. So this is BAYODE. I'm sure you read about him because it happened almost in your area there. So we're still dealing with the first segment because we had internet problem too. So I said I was going to ask you what brought you into this. It's madness. I mean, I don't know how to put it. Because for you to live lucrative life, I mean, leave your family and just say this is what you want to do. I can imagine what your family, they may be clapping for you. What they will say, is that man well? If your wife is not saying, your in-laws will be saying, that's your husband well. That's really, who is that one that is reading all over the place? Well, what is the motivation? Because we would like to encourage a lot more younger people to get involved in the kind of thing that you do.
Truth be told, I am of the opinion that a nation is not made great by the government. It is the people in the country that will make a country great. It's not possible the government make any country great. It is individuals' effort, activity, achievement that makes a country great.
Okay.
Look at what SEUN is doing right now.
Yeah.
You say it was being interviewed on BBC.
Yeah.
Now, the world knows about SEUN AWOBAJO.
Oh, of course.
As a dancer who trains dancers, right? Yeah. Not gun wielding, axe carrying, Boko Haram and the like. Do you understand? So SEUN is playing his own role in the greatness of Nigeria. Okay. Right? BAYODE in his own little corner is also playing his own role. The point is that you must be able to think outside the box. Okay. To achieve greatness. Okay. Right? The question is that when I die today, what will people say about me? Do you understand? So, we cannot, look, you mentioned Pastor Richard now. Yeah. Right from like 20, 30 years ago.
Of course, he was alone. He was just
alone. It takes a visionary leader to do that. It takes a man who thinks about the future to do that.
I was thinking about personal aggrandizement.
Not personal aggrandizement, not money, not fame. It's about what can I do to make Nigeria great? What can I do in my own little space to affect lives, to impact on people, right? I receive calls every day. Thank you, Mr. BAYODE. You really encouraged me. I had doubt I can do this, but now because you do this, I also can go for this. Yeah. That is the essence of what I did. So it is madness because there's been no reward. Nobody's giving you 10 million, nobody's giving you 20 million, nobody's giving you. Now, like Mr. Notary rightly said, Nigeria is not a place where you raise funds. take for instance, in those 20 days, Pastor Richard, we're only able to raise 100,000 naira.
Wow.
And our goal is 500 million naira. That's a far cry. But we're not giving up. Like you said, our target is Nigeria in diaspora, right? So it was a suicide quest, right? But the point is that if anybody could do it, it will have been done. So somebody must do it. Somebody must do it. So that was the reason. It's not because I was enjoying it or because, let me give you a truth. After the last one I did, my eyes were affected. I started using glasses.
There's no way to.
Right? In the last one I did, I had blisters on my tongue. I was bleeding because I had sore on my tongue, wounds. And to make matter worse, my teeth were cutting on the same spot for several days, and I must not stop breathing.
Wow.
So it was suicidal. At the point in time, I was hallucinating.
Wow.
I was seeing
all those ghosts in the book.
I was seeing the book, the letters were jumping at me. They just coming to life as it.
When I'm reading a lot.
So it's not easy, but we just have to do something. We must just keep. You must do something. We must do something.
Okay. Well, you know, I mean, again, before Richard and yourself arrived, myself and Anoti were talking of how the society can connect back to what you're doing. But I'm sure that they're listening, and we also share our videos with them. So, with what we're doing now, because the same question will apply to Shehu eventually. Okay. Our listenership is in the diaspora. That's why it's called Spirit of Nigeria Radio.
Okay.
The listenership is in the diaspora. In fact, we hardly even deal with the people here because we know a lot more stations are doing stuff here.
Yeah.
If you want the diaspora to be part of this project, what exactly will you want from them? Is there any way they can connect back to you in terms of website?
Yes.
That they can do?
Yes. We are raising funds to build functional libraries because we must add that functional.
Okay.
We have libraries that are now functional, not just a building. Functional libraries where children can go into to read, especially in the rural communities.
Okay.
Especially because we are leaving them behind.
Okay.
We are leaving them behind.
When you talk rural, you're talking of Nigeria, Nigeria.
Yes, Nigeria.
Or not just Lagos.
No, no. I'm talking about across Nigeria.
Okay, because you only can find
in Agenebode, in Burki, in all those in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Right. So to donate to our cause, you can go to read2build.net. Read with figure 2 build.net. So build.net. So you can you can donate there. You can give us $10, $20, £10, £100,
okay,
£1,000.
So it's a platform that where they can
from anywhere in the world. Okay. We have our account number. We have Flutterwave. Okay. Yeah, we have Flutterwave where you can donate. Okay. And we, like I said, we're not asking for people to give us 1 million or 2 million.
Okay.
In Lagos alone, we have over 10 million working people, right?
Yeah.
People that earn a living every day. So all we're asking is that one person just give us 2,000 naira.
Okay.
So if 500,000 people give us 2,000 naira, we will reach our goal, right? Wow. The same with Nigerians in diaspora. We have this library is not about this library. As a matter of fact, it can be John Anukulapo Legacy Library.
Okay. So people can actually donate.
Yes, it can be Richard Mama Legacy Library. Okay. Because in the library, we have what we call legacy wall.
Okay.
So on this wall will be written the names of our donors.
Okay.
So
in
that
every one of the libraries.
In every one. So if you are in Berlin or you are in Japan or you are in New York, when you come to Nigeria, you can bring your child to Nigeria and take the child to the library where your name
is written.
So you can show the
child. I've done that for National Museum, but my name is there.
I'm part of the people that build this library.
Okay.
So your name will be on that library. We call it legacy because it's not my library. It is the people's library. It is a legacy library. Okay. So for the people in diaspora, we cannot overemphasize it. We need the help. We need your contribution. We need the donation. So you can donate on read2 build.net.
Okay.
Please send in the dollar. And if you have books or you have computers, because all the library will be computer compliant. Now, the library is not only for people to come and read. We want to also empower these children in the rural communities in computer skills, right? So that we can carry them. We have gold in those people, but because we are leaving them behind, those resources, those talents are wasting away.
That's right.
So we are going to equip those libraries. That's how I call it, functional libraries.
No, not just library.
No. Functional library.
I remember the Achebe library in Ogidi, where we went there. It was a house of rodents.
No.
The community
functional library where there'll be computers, where we can have like we can call Mr. Fela and Mr. Jakulaku to talk to these children. You are in your house, right, or in your office, but you can speak to these children across Nigeria because there are computers that can build that can beam your speech on the wall over the Zoom or over the, all the media are available. So it's going to be functional and it's going to be self-sustainable because it's going to be on solar. Do you know that I used to tell this story, and it is that when I was young, my family were sharing toilets with 8 other families. 8 families, right? That toilet, sir, you can't go into it in the morning. 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, because the smell, the stench of urine will send you back. So for you to wee, you stay by the door and just throw in your own, contribute your quota. So there was this day after my secondary school, I just knew, well, let me just go home and explore what's happening outside. Let me even see a better life. So I went to VI. I forgot the building now. So I got to that building. I was pressed. I entered the restroom. It was a different world. So, this is a restroom.
Possible,
So this is possible. That changed my orientation. That there is a better life out there. We want to use this library also to give these children a shift in perspective. Because the toilet will be top notch. If it's just one room, the toilet will be top notch. The room will be top, so that it can be an escape route for these children, so that we can attract them to the library. There's no light, they use candle, they use all sorts of things, but in the library, it will be a conducive environment for them to just stay for a long time.
So what you are after is mind revolution.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Bade. I know you are going far. That's why we put you first. And SEUN AWOBAJO is there. So
let's get together.
Okay. So SEUN, they are exchanging notes. He's exchanging notes with Anthony Conde.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
this is how we have to make. This is how we have to make a connection. SEUN, the fourth proposal I'm going to make to you as a board, did you say I'm a director in the board?
Yes, yeah, member of the advisory board.
Okay, thank you. The first proposal I'm going to make to you is to say that I think we have to get Mr. Bayode so that we can connect to come over to Bariga and do a session with the young ones. Because SEUN carries a lot. In fact, SEUN, thank you very much. We don't know how you do it. We don't know how this young man, how he's been carrying that load on his head. And every time I talk to our common boss, Shoyinka, he will say, that guy, he's the only one who has been able to drag Professor Shoyinka to Bariga. The man went and sat down in the middle of the kids. He said he didn't believe that this is possible. I mean, so you see the possibility. Anywhere that picture showed, they will say that's the Nobel, right? In the middle of these kids who were, I hate to even call them slum now. We like to use the word slum, we throw it at them. But what you are doing, you are creating diamond out of that slum. SEUN, what is the beginning of this madness? Footprints of David Academy. Why don't you just have your peaceful life? Enjoy yourself. Marry properly, make money, and go ahead.
I'll first of all say thank you, sir, for this opportunity to share and also to learn from the masters. I wouldn't want to see what I'm opportune to lead as something special, because my 4 years I've done it all. It's just for me to walk the path that the great Adefilas, the German, the Shoyinkas, the Achibes, what they've done with their art. One of the things that fed my creative mind is how they use their creativity to set a very defining part on whoever cares to listen or who cares to study. So it becomes a smooth ride for us in Bariga to just say the consciousness of every human being, starts at any time it is ignited. And art is a worthy example to ignite that. The likes of Fela has done it. He has used art to emancipate people's mind, awaken people's consciousness. So I only tap into that route and bring it to the grassroots. Though innocently, it's not masterminded, it's not planned. There's no structure that say I started from here, I will go to here and move that. No. But just listening to inner consciousness of how things is panning out and will flow in that direction. So I would say, Footprint started as a community art project. When it was started, it's just like an after school training for children. And all my mind is to give back to the society that produced me. Yes, I was raised by my foster parents, whom picked me from a car accident when I was around age 3. And I didn't get to know that they are my foster parents until I get to GSS1. They had to change my name back to my surname, my biological father's surname. Apparently, they found out where I'm from. Okay, I'm the son of this person, etc., etc. So it was really a shameful thing because then my friends in school were now insulting me that, mommy, fuck me, they've changed your name, So I went home angrily to challenge my parents, and they beat the hell out of me that, come on, what's wrong with you? I knelt down from almost midday till late night when my dad came. Two of them now joined their hands and now tell me that, okay, I was picked from so car accident. They raised me. I took them time before they could know so they wanted me to become a lawyer. Fast forward, after school, it took time before they agree with me that, okay, I'm choosing the path of theater, and of course, starting out in the theater field, I was opportune to fall under the guidance or the umbrella of Segun Adefila, the lead masquerade of Bariga Art. So I approached him and say, sir, can I have Footprint be the junior arm of Crown Troop? And he said, voila, what's up? So that's how I came on board, took my informal training from there, the guidance, had my master's program from him, had my PhD from him. Then he threw me to the street, and it was a worthy experiment, actually, because kids from Footprint to graduate into Crown Troop, and something happened dramatically some 6 years ago, where we moved into the interland of the Bariga suburb, and that's where we now started the Free Slum School. So today, Footprint has had different projects under the foundation. It's registered as Footprint of David Art Foundation now, and we have several projects. We have a free photography school, we have a free fashion school, we have a free slum school, proper nursery and primary and secondary school, like from crèche to SS2, where we cater for over 700 children with free education in that suburb. We've trained 20 youth every month for a whole year in partnership with Canon International. We have a functional fashion school where we train our GSS1 students to sew the school uniform for the entire school. And we also have a monthly I Read book club, and that's where I'm begging Pastor Richard to come and help us.
And the body has not been there. And Mr.
Yeah. So I'm just looking forward to how we could also help more people, because I think the weapon that could, push the consciousness of people more, should be pushed more to the children, so that, because it takes time to grow with that consciousness before you now decide, okay, but I don't want to become tattoo, I don't want to just waste my life one. You can consciously decide from at the tender age, because those bad boys also recruit from the tender age. Cultism started even from primary school or secondary school nowadays, and all of that. So if we push them like that from that early age, it helps. And interestingly, our free slum school will be 5 this year. We have 23 staffs, and we've never applied for any international grant or local grant. Never get any funding. We only use my experience or my knowledge in multi-level marketing to tap into it. So I ask people like German every month to help me look for 10 of their friends who could also donate 20,000 naira to him, which gives him about 24,000 or 22,000. Then he add the rest and pay each teacher. So at the end of the month, I only send the account number of the teacher to German, to pay, and that keeps the entire student in that teacher's class in school. So everybody is free to join that chain. I will keep pushing. Yes, sometimes it's very, wavery, but we just decide that we are not going to apply for any grants, any fund yet. Let's test if you can do this for 5 years. Then we can now say, okay, we can open up for more partnership collaboration. And it's 5 years already. So it's a year where I will now start submitting my proposal to German to help me cross the T's and dot the I, to start hitting the people of Dangote and the likes of, my eye is on Mark Zuckerberg actually, because now we are partnering with Maker's Room, where we are teaching the children now in computer programming, 3D animation, coding, and you'll be amazed with what these children are building. Believe me. In February, I'm going to be sending out another broadcast where you will come and watch or see the works of these children on our online gallery where you can watch virtually. And our target is to rebuild the future of architecture in Bariga. You're going to see the whole design of Bariga, in 3D, in projection, while they are also building the skills of programming, 3D animation, and all of these coding thing. It's really amazing work that they have already. I can't wait to share with the whole world. And on Children's Day, we're going to exhibit such work also at the Alliance Française Gallery. And of course, it's Children's Day, so exhibition by children to children, now in a digital platform. So wait for my broadcast also to arouse me on ticket donations and all of that. But to wrap it up, I will beg all of you listening to me to come and see Bariga, to come and see Psychote Theater, and to come and listen to the good messages that these kids have for you all, and to see how we can together encourage them,
Okay, having made that appeal, where exactly can they meet you? Because we're broadcasting to the diaspora and they're listening. And the reason why we're doing this is to get their interest. You had Mr. Bayode mention reach2build.net. Where exactly can they reach you? So we can also send it to them on
our website is active. I'm super sure that if you just Google Footprints of David, you're going to read a lot about us. But our website is www.footprintsofdavidart.com. www.footprintsofdavidart.com. Once you Google it, you're going to read a lot of things about us, and you can follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. We're also there, Footprints of David.
We also put it on our website here, so that because a lot of people visit there. Now, before I'll ask Mr. Bayode to ask you a question, Mr. Mama Anote, Mr. Anthony, Prince Adegboyega. You exist in a community. These children are picked from the community, right? What is the response of the community to you? Because you can be doing such a project. If the community does not support you, if they don't open up to you, if they constitute a threat, that may be a problem. Yes.
I think once the community is not involved, it's a project dead on arrival. But interestingly, like I shared from the beginning, for me, Footprint is a community project. And once it is a community project, I'm only opportune to lead. I'm not the one that made all the decisions. By that, I mean, when we started, we have quite a number of children, and I have currently 27 of them in my own personal house. But all these 27 are boys. And this has been the routine for the past 12 years. Now, before you grow to that 27, we also have the influx of some girls, but those girls cannot be allowed to stay with me. So I share them in some neighboring houses in the community. I talk to the people around and they put them in their house. In fact, oúnjẹ tó bá jẹ nínú ilé lọ́jọ́ yẹn, lọ́mọ yẹn náà máa jẹ. You know, if it is gari, it's the same gari that child will drink. If it is rice, it's the same meal. You know, so when we first started, I was living with my, you know, my foster parents, and I had 8 of them with me, and it's just a 2-room apartment, and I could not bring all of them into the room to sleep. So we sleep at the veranda. So for 4 years, we're sleeping directly under the sky. We had just the mat and the mosquito net. And once it is raining, I just spread the boys to enter any room and they will open the door, even if it's 2 a.m. at night. So it's a community thing. So what I'm saying essentially, especially, is that the community agree with me, because the fundamentals of letting the community agree with me has been looked after. You know, that's why the likes of Segun Adefila has already made a noise about art and the potency of it in Bariga. The likes of, you know, people who has lived before us. I lived in a community where Sonny Ade grow his music. Salawa, Bene, Nice, you know, all of those people. So the art is a very, very vibrant thing, you know, that is in the eye of many people. But bringing it to the grassroots is just a bridge that I was opportune to, you know, put in place. So the community is very, very in support. The ballers, the local government, of course, the politicians are looking for a way to cluster in. But of course, sorry, I'm not a politician and I'm not part of all of this politics. But I just do my art. I invite them. If they come, fine. If they don't, we move on. But market people, day-to-day regular people, with their little Kuguru and Ekpa money, they support. With their little abode, they support. They come to see our show. We have a quarterly live theater at the Seaside Cottage Theater every 3 months, and they are always there. You know, parents also. If you're having our any of our events, we just, hey, ABC, please borrow us this one. Yeah, can you give us this one? And sometimes we go pick those stuff even without telling them. You know, so the relationship, the symbiotic relationship is there, and that foster the need to do FODAF every year.
Okay, we'll get to that FODAF, because this FODAF last year was something else. I must tell you that I never made it, but I followed, and it was good. Now,
thank you, sir.
You've been able to you have this international trip that you go. You know, one of the high points for me is in BBC or the CNN one, where that woman said, "Look at my son. I never believed he would ever step out of even Bariga. Now this boy goes to Germany like almost every time." And then the president of Germany now came here, and with Shoyinka, they received the group. I mean, which parent
will not be so happy?
So he's transforming our entire community. How did all of this happen?
Yeah. It's a smooth ride when we have the pathfinders clear the path. Sincerely, it looks very easy, but I picked an adage from Segun Adefila, and it says that if you see a duck on the water, it looks very calm, but if you go underneath, the leg is doing so much work. So the pepper only suru tutu loju, but ishe nla lese nse labe omi. So the pathfinders has cleared most of the parts. The international trip started from our opportunities to put some of our works together and showcase for several international competitions. So we won some award, and some of our competitions that we entered for gave birth to some people who saw it internationally, then came to Nigeria. Fortunately, they know Segun Adefila, Macandre of Goethe Institute, and boom, we started the collaboration.
Yes.
Yeah. And the collaboration, you know, grew to a point where other collaborators are now reaching out, you know, for more partnership and for more involvement. And the first very work that, you know, took us outside this country was so interesting, was so marketable, was so huge that he has to tour every state in Europe, tour all the big festival in Europe, and the call just keep coming. And it becomes, the height of, seeing how these children can move from practical dump site to the palace. I mean, after performance, you see people pay extra money to have these kids in their house for dinner, for tete-a-tete, for discussion and all of that. And, imagine landing in Berlin and you see the billboard of these children everywhere on the street for a performance. I mean, and it's art, so it's theater. So I don't know how to express the joy again, but it's so refreshing that it is possible. Art can actually literally transform kids and their minds and their family. So
okay. Well, this is SEUN AWOBAJO on Culture Train on Spirit of Nigeria Radio, where we bring the diaspora up to speed. SEUN, thank you very much for what you're doing. Our listeners out there will be very interested in this project that you're doing, because as I said, what we do on this radio station is to project what is happening in Nigeria, apart from the bad news, the very worrisome news that our people listening to outside. They should know there are people doing things, as people will say, from the black pot, the white pap is so we thank you very much. And while on that, let me welcome to the studio my friend, brother, Basil Chukwueze. We started out writing together. Although he saw the light very early, he ran to the bank to make more money. And your daughter, you're welcome. I mean, we do this program because of people like you, who live outside. We don't want you to, if you listen, because I know what my family tell me. When they listen, in fact, my daughter is a dancer in SEUN's troupe, virtual dancer.
Yes, sir.
You only read bad news. My wife is always telling me it's always about bad news. But when we project things like this, people can listen. My son too, I mean, they listen and they can see that people are doing stuff. It's not just about killing and stealing money and recycling. We're more than that. We're a great nation. We have great people. Mr. Bayode, who is sitting next to me, is second-time Guinness World Record holder for the longest marathon reading. He just finished 480 hours in 20 days. And he did, when he did it in 2018, it was only him. So we knew him. We even brought him to Lagos Book Festival. Last year, he tried to bring 4 girls, some of them from the north, from IDP camp, to join him in the reading. You can imagine what you have done to the mentality of those kids. They will never be the same again. Just as what SEUN is doing in Bariga, the children he's working with, just pick them randomly from what we call slum, is build them into artists. In fact, creative artists, don't just say artists, creative artists who are now doing their own stuff, taking them abroad. So when I saw the video on BBC report, the woman said, my son, I never dreamed this boy will ever step out of Bariga. The boy has been going to Germany, to Austria, to everywhere, just to go and perform. Imagine the joy of that woman. And now many children are now joining, and they now went into academy, they started school, they started all. That's the kind of story that we like to tell the world. And that's why we do the culture train. It's not just about artists who are making money. You can make money, but people who are making impacts. Not just, if you release an album, it doesn't excite me. You write a book, it doesn't excite me. But when you start a reading project like Richard Mama, it excites me. When you do marathon reading and you bring these young people, it excites me because I know that you are contributing to what we call nation building. Nation building is not about every artist making their own money and becoming big. Then we start to who have been building libraries and communities. In this same country, a killing field, a land of corruption, the land with the largest, what do they say? Poverty capital of the world. That is the story out there. That's the story out there. That your green passport does not worth anything. So you're welcome. And you're welcome, Basil. Nice to see you again. And I now saw that you have a bald head. Mine is style, And the executive producer of this station is Toya Arulu. Oh, yes. Toya Tall and White. Yes, because he's in our world too. Thank you very much. These are the station. We have a sister station in Ibadan called Life Radio. That's where he is currently, and we're linked. So, Sheon, you know me, I know you. If I'm asking you too many questions, it's like I'm doing incest. I know you nepotism, and you don't want to do like that man in Abuja who is doing nepotism. So let me give the question to the people. Richard Mama is there. He just started. I told people. I said it on air on this same culture train a long time ago. Before all of us woke up to this idea of let's promote reading culture and things. Richard started what he called the. He had Synergy Educational Service. You remember in those days, yes, they used to do the educational Richard Mama, yes. And then he's been doing it since then. Now came back. I think it was last year. They now decided to form cooperative, what they call the Network of Book Clubs and Reading Promoters of Nigeria. They've been doing a lot. That for me, that was the major achievement of the creative sector last year. That all these book clubs will come. Yeah, the convention in you and a lot of people. Yes. Because a nation that is not reading is dead. It's dead. So, Richard, thank you very much for being here. And also thank you for starting a literary journal online that is helping to promote people free of charge. Yeah, what newspapers have stopped doing is what Anote, who was as editor at the Guardian Punch, and then Mr. Anthony Conde, who have been doing library too. So I want Mr. Bayode to ask you a question, and then Richard will ask, all of us will ask you questions, Sheo. Well, because you are the community gatherer.
Yeah. I want to say that I want to start with thanking you for your foresight.
So my executive producer said we are all crazy folks. But doing things without making money. Nobody, but that's why he created the station like this, where it's not making money, spending his own money.
Yeah. Thank you, Sheon. Thank you, Sheon, for, like I told Oga fella German that a country is not made great by the government. It is the individual and the country that makes a country great, by what you do, by what we do. So I want to say thank you for what you are doing, and I pray that you more strength, more connection, and more resources. However, I'm curious though that these children, is it that when they come for the classes, right? Do they go back to what they do before you pick them, or you? Because I have many dropouts in my area. I have many young. There was a boy I accustomed one day, was doing conductor, and the boy spoke a very good English, and I'm like, why are you doing conductor? He said, my father left my mom, that is my father. I need money, blah blah blah. I took the boy to the director of Jimmy Benson's organization, and I care. Jimmy Benson is a House of Rep member representing the Ikorodu, and he's doing a lot in that particular space. So I told this boy to that place, sir, this boy, his future should not be wasted. What can you do? And we agreed to enroll him in a school in the Ikorodu, only for this boy not to show up again. Oh, wow. He didn't show up again. So there are many like that. There are many like that. So my question is that how do you do it that they always come back? The number two, is it that you house them, that they don't go back to what they were doing before? Yeah. And if that is the case, how are you being able to sustain them, feeding them, buying clothes, general upkeep of these children? Because that is why they are on the street in the first place anyway. So how are you being able to do all this?
Okay. I will start by saying that answer, I don't know. That answer, I don't have it. But I can only share what has happened from experience, because like I said, I did not go into footprint. Footprint goes into me. So in other words, I didn't start it, or it started unconsciously, because originally how it started is just a pack of children who gathered to mimic how we used to dance and rehearse. Do you understand? So a particular day we were not there, and these children always gathered to watch us. We're now mimicking what we do. And they gather start mimicking. So I just had to join them, coordinate, and start taking the lead, just guiding them. Then I start tracing them home. Individual, this one is sleeping, this one is just walking around. This one is with one drug addict father. This one is one mad woman. I mean, that's how we start the journey, But to attempt to discuss your question, because I'm also still looking for the answer. First, I learned from there's a principle that you don't have to teach a child, just help the child to, discover himself. So you have to speak their language, you have to be like them. So if I meet a child now and I saw that first of all, the negative energy around the child is making him to do things that is not right. So I just have to keep friendship first. I don't go straight to, hey, you can be that or can be this. So all of us they street, bros. You understand? We all of us they street. So we go first, speak their language, get acclimatized to them first. So it's when you leave your own world with them a bit, then you can now say, okay, let's try this other side now. And they start yielding. Yes, it's not that every child I meet is 100%. Some we know in part, we professor in part. I only do what my power can chew. But importantly, there's a method that I think works for me. Is first of all, when I notice, I approach, I be them first, then show them the other part. Then if they agree, they stay. So yes, a lot of them stay in my house. Some I took them to friends, of course, community people. And when you give them something they don't have, trust me, they will stay. And it's not always encouraging to show them that, oh, now you can have a better life, you can now be this. No, it doesn't most times work that way, because they don't even know the difference between the better life and the life they are living. They can't see the difference. So until when you journey with them, understand them, then chip in those things gradually, and of course, art is the most potent of all to do such. So every child wants to dance, every child wants to act, every child wants to, so just use that bit. They will listen. Drum is a magician. Drum is a magician. You will listen to the drum.
Drum is a magician. You have a lot of giveaway.
Yes,
drum is a magician. What's the other one? The consciousness of every man starts from when it is ignited. Thank you very much. So let me leave the next question to Richard, and then Anote, the literary editor, will now come in. Richard, please.
Okay, Sheung, I think I would just join the rest of the comments that have been made about how remarkable the work you are doing, and just want to find this out. Working with the streets, as it were, as you noted, there are all kinds of things that you experience and see, in the course of your engagements. And then even the fact that you have to now raise and find resources to be able to sustain the program. How do you cope in those moments when it's like, it is looking as if you don't know what to do next. You don't know how to move next, how to find the next set of resources, how to deal with, say one particular problem, candidate, all that. How do you handle such moments?
Now this is the knockout blow. This is actually a knockout blow, man. I didn't fear this thing. And Jama, to be honest, this is why I've been avoiding this interview.
This is not the third time that man has been dodging.
The thing that I'm meeting just you now is 2 or 3. Okay, sir, I will try again to attempt. What you said is just the reality that I face every day. But there's something I learned from the scripture, which is there's no vision without provision. Sometimes those provisions might not be as big as humanly thinking it will. I'm talking about some situations comes where I have to literally go to some parents' house to open their fridge without permission and take omieron, tomato, to survive at home. And aside that, I'm a trained thespian, I'm a dance artist, I'm a dance teacher. I teach drama. I teach dance, indigenous dance, actually, in almost all the big schools in Lagos. I've taught there. I've taught in Grange, Corona, Green Spring, Sunny Day, Hallifield. I also train to the point that some of these children are now trained to also teach with me, you know, and I make money from those schools and I bring it back to this business. And aside that, myself on a daily basis, I be bus driver, as in I drive down for Wella. Do you understand? So there's a need for daily income and there's a need for something to collect monthly. So those two areas, I do not even want to venture into any white collar job because now scam. I don't know how to speak all those grammar. I don't know how to, and sometimes it's not realistic. But when you go into something that you can do with your hand on a daily basis and on a monthly basis, then you can solve it. So I shuffle my time, train 2 schools per day. Then in the evening, when we come back, I do a bit of Yabo Yigbo. Do you understand? And that feeds us per night. Wow. So it is not something that I just need to wait for German to send me 20,000 naira. Do you understand?
Wow. Wow.
It's not because sometimes people who also try to donate or support you have their own personal problems too. But your 2 hands, your 2 legs have to also get active. But I'm not saying that this that I do or that I think I'm doing is actually the solution, because there are some days that all of those mechanisms fail. I mean, most times they fail. Now I'm married, I have a daughter, and yet those mechanisms still fail. But there's a supernatural hand that is still, you know, that still comes around and say, okay, you're not gonna die. just this will pass you by also.
Okay, so but then in doing all of this, with all this struggle, you've also become a celebrity in your own little way, just like Mr. Bayode, because I know that the governor has adopted you. If I write from the former governor, when you did Lagos at 50,
right from Fashola.
In the good book from Fashola, right, and the Ambode, then to this governor, you are in good book of Wole Soyinka. You are in the good book of the former, is it the former president of Germany or so?
Yes.
And then Pastor Itua Igodalu
finally
made a statement when he adopted your group. He said he went to celebrate his 60th birthday there, and that when he saw what these kids were doing in that environment, this environment has been totally neglected, and he saw these bright stars coming out of there that he couldn't hold himself. He had to, after telling the governor, when the governor now came, because you did something for his 56th birthday. Global. When the governor, he now rubbed it in the man's face that, look, I'm ashamed that place exists in Lagos, and you have all these children who are doing great things, and Lagos has no. And the governor promised that, oh, no, I've adopted them, I'll come there. Has he done anything? I know he's your friend. No, I say it now, so I can tell I've been in the diaspora.
I mean, the answer is
it is audio. It is audio promise.
There are plenty, of course, the audio promise has been from Fashola, same from Ambode, and not so it's no longer a news to me, and it doesn't even freak me again. Like I said before, when God wants to, you know, change how you see success, then he brings people who you think that when you meet them, your story will change. And you see that when they come, it doesn't even make any impact. Then you meet somebody as simple as Ganiata Bayomi, or you meet somebody like, you know, some of my students, even in NYC, you know, permit me to share that one of my students, at a point in my life, about 4 years ago, Lagos State government used to give me 200 youth corpers who are trained in special CDAs and represent the state in different things. And some students from NYC students, since 5 years ago till date, are paying for 8 teachers in my school every month. I don't need to remind them, and they do it wholeheartedly, you know. And I had the governor on the seat since the era of Fashola to Ambode, even till Sanwo-Olu. They've not even buy us one broom, gale, you know. So I mean, I'm just trying to reiterate that when God wants to decompose that big imaginary success, I think if you meet this person, your story will change and they will know. And now that, of course, they promise so many things. Yes, there's still time. They can still come and do it. It's government. Government cannot end. But of course, as far as I'm concerned, till date, nothing. But we are hopeful.
Okay. Well, on that note, let me welcome to Culture, Train and Spirit of Nigeria Radio, our sister, Buki Ogunote, the super actress that is there, another person who has been doing stuff on our own without looking at any government. I think all of us should do what I've done a long time. I said there's no government. We will never have government.
We are the government.
There's not going to be government. I don't even want us to be government. Let's just be doing what we're. There will be no government. These guys, look, they are back now to make noise. After from June, watch you. It don't matter anymore until after. So let's just be doing the little that we're doing. A little. Let BAYODE do what he's doing. Richard, you're doing your own. Buki, you're doing your own. Anthony Conde, you are doing your own. Anote, you are doing your own. Everybody just doing their own in their little corner. As I said, this station, for instance, sometimes I wonder how my friend sustain it. He's spending money, we're running generator, he's not making money. But he says there's a Nigerian story to be told to the world, and he commits his own resources to do that. And this is not the only one. He has another one in Ibadan that is just spending money that in other places. And I think we should just be doing what we're doing and forget about government. We will never have government. So I've been warned by my big boss. No, we have 5 minutes. Why are you saying less than 5 minutes? So Anote, you have the question, and we'll wrap it up on that, and I will sign off so that we can have music to coast home. Anote.
Well, it's been yes.
Next 4 minutes.
Exactly.
Go on. Go ahead. Anote. Oh,
the other time when yes, the issue was that necessary interface between the universities and town and gown, universities and the community. So I'm wondering, does any university invite you for any program, any project? Because what you are doing is actually community based, which ought to impact, which universities ought to feed from. Do they bring you in sometimes to intervene in their projects and programming? Any university at all?
For that same question, we go to Mr. BAYODE too, because if you are doing what you are doing, you ought to be meeting the universities and be encouraging those kids. What are we?
Well, my own newly built seaside cottage center is at the shore of Lagos Lagoon, adjacent to Senate Building at the back of the University of Lagos. So it's just a boat, a 2 minutes to 3 minutes boat ride to the university.
They can even walk on water like Moses.
But I'll be waiting. I'm still there.
And that's your school too. Isn't that your school? That's your school.
It is. It's my alma mater. So I will be waiting. I'll be waiting.
And that's a free space for them for IT, for art-on experience.
That's to even them to come to that place, to that space. Okay, so for Mr. BAYODE, because we're wrapping up, have you been invited by even the state government or by any university to? Because that's all this university. What do they do? And you are the only one who have done that.
Well, the student of the school often invites me to talk at their programs, but not the school itself. Maybe the SUG, the department ESCOs, maybe they have maybe Biz Admin Week or Post Science Week. Of course, they often invite me, but not particularly the state institution itself. About the government, I've come to the realization that every government takes the life of the leader. Every government takes the life of the leader. If the leader is enthusiastic about a particular subject, that is what the focus of that government would be, right? If it is not on this particular subject, forget. For that 4 years, that subject is non-existent, right? I remember during the last 2018, because Fela was it was moved. It was always there in that particular project. For those 6 days, it was always there. So after the whole event, of course, the governor was aware, informed the governor. The governor was, as Ambod was following up on the program. So after, of course, I was invited. We had our talk, even though, like Shehu said, it was all audio. But of course, there was still that governorship handshake, right? But for this one, nothing like that. Even though they supported us, they were our major sponsor, even though not up to 10% of what we needed, but of course, they were the major sponsor. But that's just it. Nothing.
So
nothing.
you are still waiting.
We are still waiting.
In any case, I think because we don't like to talk politics on culture train. This is about culture. But we just put a mark on it. You see, any society where governance is defined by how many roads you build, how many gutters you build, and co. That is not a system.
In this age.
The system does not think about education. They don't think about, in fact, the three basic things of life, they don't think about it. They don't think they build roads. So you build roads, so what? you build school. The teachers are not well paid. So the teachers go there and become merchants. So we're not building system. We're not, I mean, even what Sheung is doing with the students from what he said, those kids now, they are not just learning. He's not taking them to only school. They are learning with their hands. They can produce fashion, they can do bags, they can do stuff. I have some of their products at home. That is the real inculcation. You are really bringing the children.
Let me chip in here, sir. I'm sorry.
Although we have less than 1 minute.
1 minute. Oh, sorry. Nigeria is a great field for talents. Today, India is making over $10 billion from people from around the world hiring their people for skills. Nigeria, we have over 200 million people, right? But when our people want to empower our citizens, they give them marwa, okada, shovel. When there are skills that the world can employ. It's get me so mad.
Advocate of Nigeria that he said he was creating 774,000 jobs. They were giving people
it's mixed 21st
century. Why
can't the government pay for free course on Udemy, on Skillshare, on domestic for these people to learn and have viable skill to earn dollars from?
I've been told by our, I think he's a friend of the government. He said we should not talk politics again. Well, thank you very much, everybody who has been on there. Oyin we just joined us. Thank you. We're on Culture Train on Spirit of Nigeria Radio, where we bring the diaspora up to speed. What we do here is to show the positive things that are happening in Nigeria so that the world, our people who are outside of the world, the diaspora money runs this economy. You should just accept that. It's the money that our people are sending that is running this nation. Correct. So they need to know that there are things going on. There are things they can make positive contribution to. It's not enough to just come and build estate, build brick and mortar here. That's not development. Development is when you can help education, when you can help enlightenment, when you can help to empower people. Thank you very much, SEUN AWOBAJO, because that's what you're doing. Thank you, Bayode, that's what you're doing. Richard, that's what you're doing. Booker Gunote, that's what you're doing. Anthony Conde, that's what you're doing. And my executive producer is there. They want to see your face. Mr. Terry Arunogum is there.
Wow.
We said we should go on. Okay, we have been given time to go on. Okay, we just continue. So now, Mr. Dayo, I hope I can make my point now. As we're saying, brick and mortar, it is not what is building this our nation. What will build our nation is education, enlightenment, and empowerment. That's what you can do. If you empower these kids, like SEUN AWOBAJO is doing, like Bayode is doing, like Richard is doing, like Buki is doing, like Anthony Conde, like Oyin Contact, like all of us are doing. If you empower the young people, they will take over the world. You've not done that much for them. They are all over the world. They are the best. One girl just won the best mathematician or something. You know, look at the little boy from Oshodi who became a chess champion. It just shows you that when you invest in people, the example of India that you gave, the example of China, even Japan. I saw a documentary on Al Jazeera this night. I didn't sleep. They empower these young people, and the young people take over the world. Americans now, they may have the white American, but the people who are really running the economy are the Indians.
Correct.
The Indians, the Chinese people, because they empower them, they empower their children, they empower their young people. It's not just by building road. My executive producer was a commissioner. If you were building road, it's not about building road.
Okay, let me just butt in here. I think one of the last statements I heard before I came on here was that if, let me say, the leader or the principal is not interested in a particular area, then just forget it. And that's very correct. everybody knows, and I've said it, every governor in Nigeria is an emperor. So it depends on the governor's agenda. So if the governor is infrastructure-led, he will do all the things that relate to infrastructure. So his commissioner for youth and culture will not do much because it's not an area that is of interest to the principal. Now, that is where you as the commissioner or the special advisor must be able to prove your mettle. You must be able to push, okay? And I give you my example. When I worked with Governor Ajimobi, he wasn't really culture interested, but I pushed it down his throat. On World Culture Day, I would bring all the cultural troop to come and wake him up in the house in the morning. I was that daring. Then he would say, what's happening? I said, today is World Culture Day, okay? Oh, yeah, let's take photo. He said, no, you are wearing beads. Let me go and buy my own beads. And I'm sure that is one of his best pictures on the internet today. But what am I saying? It is you that you must push it. And that's why they forget government, everybody. So I wanted to do a Amala festival. He was I said, no, I will do it, sir. Today, GTP is doing food fair. They bring one of my Amala sellers from Ibadan.
What are you saying? Do you know Amala is going to be on UNESCO Heritage?
I am telling you, somebody is discussing. Yeah. Let me tell you, somebody is discussing Abuja Amala Festival with me right now.
Wow. They're doing it in London, everywhere.
Oyo State has the highest concentration of twins in the world. Every home in Igbora has a twin, minimum, one set. So I said I wanted to do Twins Festival. I wrote this one. But you know what? The governor has grandchildren that are twins. So when I took my proposal to him, he started with you, this man, you've come with your culture. So I showed you my poster. It was the poster of himself carrying his grandchildren twins. Wow. So immediately he says, we'll do this one. Now, what is the point? You must find a way to, so many other things like that. We will do it.
Bookie, we will get to you now.
Yes. No problem.
So I put all so you got to be able to drive it. But it was coming also because I share the same background with you guys. If it was some other person, he wouldn't know his left from his right. Be that as it may. One of my biggest challenges, and if you might say regrets, throughout our 8 years, and I'm not with all due respect, because we attempted, we tried, and I'm sure you know I brought Wasi Karim. The cultural center in Ibadan is next to National Theatre.
One of our major facilities.
We couldn't renovate it, we couldn't resuscitate it. It's just lying down there. So the best I could do was to get Nigerian breweries to do the exterior, turn it into, an outdoor, more like what they do at Freedom Park now. But that was the best I could do. Also, funding is key, but sometimes you can go around funding.
Yeah, but the idea has to, first of all.
Oh, yes. I invited them. I said, go and turn this cultural center around. We'll give it to you. So that's the way that we need to think or work. Because you see, for those of us that are arts, that have arts background, we have a major deficiency. We are thinking for art's sake. We are not thinking art for life. The business, the packaging of it is typically missing. There are quite a number of good actors that are traditional Christians that are not doing as well as some, if you ask me, modern day actors, if you know what I mean. Ask me, for example, a Tuji Shotimiri, bundle of talent, but the packaging is missing. So this is where I think we need to focus for us as the arts community. And I like what the SEUN
AWOBAJO.
Yes, I like it.
In fact, I wish you could bring the kids to the studio one day.
No problem. Anytime. Yes, we'll do that.
Or even come to Ibadan.
We'll do that.
Come to live.
We can do that. As a matter of fact, we are even planning. I went during the Oshobo Festival. We had this 43rd memorial for what's this man's name now? Popular Duro Ladipo.
Okay.
And there was an inter-school competition. I was wowed. Children were acting. And of course, come on, let's face it, it's something that we do need to promote. If not, everybody will be doing TV and Nollywood. They don't know cyclorama, they don't know stage right, they don't know statement. I'm telling you.
Let me call Buki Ogunoja.
Yeah, okay, let us.
Okay. You know Buki Ogunoja, the actress?
Yes.
Our Ibadan people. Go ahead, please.
Good evening, everyone. So sorry I'm coming in late. I first want to apologize. I had the mind of joining earlier, but I had other things I had to attend to as well in preparation for tomorrow's service at the church. You know, different duties always come. I'm so happy to be here. I wouldn't know if this point's been mentioned before, but as we were talking, Sheung, I just want to say hi, how are you? Everybody, I'm just shouting out. Yeah, well done for a wonderful job that you are doing. So I wouldn't know if this point's been raised earlier on, but I just want to reiterate on them a little more. We have said everything. I must say right here that I tell you there are still great talents out there that are yet to be explored. Very great talents. Those young ones, oh my God. The rate at which you come across them, it's like they are really looking for that platform to blow. There are so many out there. I just want to give kudos once again to few of us that are taking the bulls by the horn to say on their own, on our own, we must make sure we help them. Sheung, you already, I remember the last time I saw you at Nantab's end of the year party. You know, I told you this. I said, Sheung, you are really doing a wonderful work. If many of others can join, few of us, and Jamal, oh God, you have been a great promoter of arts for, in fact, not be today. And God has really been helping you. And we so much appreciate what you're doing. Having said that, my Oga, I've tried to look for his face, but I couldn't see his face. I've been saying that we should not counter the government. But oh, well done, sir.
Well done, sir. I'm also privileged to see the face.
Woo! Wow.
Finally.
So much. Yeah. Don't let me mention the name. It's nice seeing your face, sir. You see, no matter how hard we try to conceal that area, we still cannot do without mentioning our government. We are being governed by a system of the government in the particular area where we stay. So if we want to be able to do this thing on a very larger scale, we need to involve them. I'm just making this appeal. No matter how individuals are trying, I tell you, if you ask Sheung, tell me some of your constraints, tell me some of your challenges. 80% of the challenges Sheung will mention, Owoni, Abi Mokparo.
Owoni koko. After money is money.
You understand? And for now, we look at our government as the only body that can help us with that sum that we need. Because we will still jarupalu, and we are pleading that when they see us, there is this eye of what is German, we understand what I'm saying. And it is not their, There is one thing we wanted to get, and you mentioned it, sir, when you went to present that proposal to the governor that time. You have come again with this, your culture, you understand? So there is need for us, and we are doing that right now. There is need for us to change that orientation. That theater has come, it has come a long way, and it has developed to away from what it used to be. Well, we cannot rule out the fact that we still have some educators in need. As you rightly said, sir, I work on one stage right, stage left, stage center, one mama yes. So if you look at some of the drama sponsorship, just because they want, but it's true, just because they want some faces to be in that production. Well, theater is dynamic now. You can afford to back. Okay, they will look for something to cover it up as an excuse. We need to do it the right way it's supposed to be done. So, sir, we are pleading. Government, a job, you still need to.
He's no longer in government, too. But he's a friend of the governor.
He's a friend of the so I'm speaking because I know this particular is being recorded. They will want to do something very good for us. We promise that henceforth, the face of theater, in fact, it has started changing, and it will change for good. And at the same time, I want to use this medium to talk to us in the business too. Content that are being produced now, they're so watery. They are not strong at all. They are very watery. So we need to tighten up we need to make it look more. They look at what you said you showed the governor that time, and he said, this one must be done. Because he saw something there that he felt and believed that he could key into. And if I ask you then that if the thing came out successfully, what am I proud of our language, you know? Yeah. So that is what I'm saying. So we need to come out with good content. Okay. Not just anything. That is just my contribution. Once again, Shehu, well done. God bless you. The Lord will continually increase you. And let down one more to build up you. In the name of
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
government,
much. Oh,
government has its own role. The people have their own role. And the friends of the government, they have their own role.
But we all have our role.
The main role is for those of you who are doing stuff.
The government would even support you, but they give you crumbs or peanuts. If you know,
because it's only infrastructure that bring immediate naira.
No, not necessarily. Because it's not top of the mind. Look, Adol Schwarzenegger was governor. You know, it would make,
of course,
priority. If I become governor, I will make arts priority.
So we should all go.
No, you can't make the change from outside. That's the honest truth.
That's
fundamental. And I'm guilty because after my 8 years, I said, no, I don't want to touch those people again.
Yeah, because
which is a problem. But then elections are coming. We need to. I mean, you can't just make that change from outside. That's the honest truth. So something has to give. We have to give that. I mean, make that sacrifice such that, you know, even if it's not immediate, you know, would have laid the foundation for that change. Yes. My last example, you know. If a former governor, for example, dies in a state, let me give the example of when we were in the state, and General Adeyinka that I have an idea of how much they will spend for his burial. So when Baba died, Adebayo Faleti, I took my file to the governor. I said, okay, this one passed governor. This one is the one that translated national anthem to Yoruba. This man is that. That cultural center road, we are going to name him after him. He was just looking at me. I think it's a big constituency. When Akinwumi Shola died, I took the file to him. You have to call him. When Baba Salah died, I took the file to him that you have to drop money. Big one for this. So what I'm just saying is that if I was from, I won't understand this book. If I don't know Akinwumi Shola's work, if I don't know Adebayo Faleti's work, if I don't know Baba Salah's work, I even went with them. That no government, this is government burial now. This is government burial. You know, it has to be like that. You know, so if there are many more of us on the inside, we'll begin to propagate it. They'll begin to see it. Correct.
That's true. And those of us who can't get in will become friend of the government. Like SEUN AWOBAJO is a friend of the governor. You're the only one who brought governor on stage. The man was dancing. Everybody were clapping. This one he was really dancing like. I think we should do more of that. You know. Well, I mean, my final word. Let's just be doing what we're doing in our little corner and be interested in our environment. Because what Mr. Arulogwu is saying, that we should be interested in the political environment too. If they are not practically involved in politics, at least
not the one that they'll be paying all you to go to campaign or they'll be collecting money.
Even before somebody declared, they already had a party for him.
Candidates
they already were endorsing somebody who has not even said
they are just using to attract crowd to the campaign.
Yeah. It just become also run. You'll be clapping and they'll be chopping all the money. But what we like to say to government fundamentally is to empower people. And education is the only thing. Education. Look, if those kids, you read the story about Nigeria becoming the center of startups. It's not for anything that Mark Zuckerberg came here. That this Tesla man came here. That the Twitter guy has now chosen about 3 people from Nigeria. Go to Yaba now. That Yaba is a total. When you talk of silicon, it's Yaba here. Yaba is one of the crummiest part of Lagos. But you see, if you can only replicate that, or imagine what these guys are doing.
Go to computer
village here. Somebody took somebody to computer village. When the man got, they said, because in his presence, the guy took apart the computer and put it together. Computer. Threw everything everywhere. They brought them, started assembling them. This guy never went beyond secondary school.
Yeah.
I will tell you the talent that they say, but what is the system? If Lagos they want to intervene in computer village, they will say they are moving them somewhere. That's how they dismantle.
That's the only thing.
They're not saying you cannot move them, but must you dismantle it? Must you burn modular refinery? If you cannot control it, can you find a way to regulate? So anyway, so you always say we should not talk politics.
No,
we are talking producer. We're talking governance. Okay, thank you very much.
So before we go, sir, permit me to quote this.
It will be the very last word.
Bertolt Brecht.
Our listeners are there.
Yeah, he said that the worst illiterate is a political illiterate. He hears nothing, sees nothing, takes no part in political life. He doesn't seem to know that the cost of living, the price of beans, of flour, of rent, of medicine, all depend on political decisions. He even prides himself on his political ignorance, sticks out his chest and says he hates politics. He doesn't know, the imbecile, that from his political non-participation comes the prostitute, the abandoned child, the robber, and worst of all, corrupt officials, the lackeys of exploitative multinational corporations. That is Bertolt Brecht saying that. Truth is that we can't blame them. I don't blame them, I blame us. Ogafela, we don't speak politics, but we speak governance, sir. In my ward youth leader, his job is to go around and help to kill the alarm. Naming ceremony, birthday, that's what he does.
That's a youth leader.
My youth leader in the local government, right, stays at the bus stop to collect money from Maru and Okada. The youth leader of a political party. Now, imagine a German as a party chairman in the local government. Imagine Sheung as a youth leader in a political party. Can you imagine the quality of his thoughts?
Yeah.
Imagine an engineer as a party chairman in the world level. So we are the problem, not this.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. It means that we all have to be part of our political environment. Well, it's a gradual thing. When we start to make billions to pay for a governorship fund. Thank you, everybody. It's been Culture, Train, and Spirit of Nigeria Radio, where we bring the diaspora up to speed. What we do here is to ensure that those in the diaspora get to know what is going on, the positive things going on here, so that you don't always think that Nigeria is just a killing field or the land of corruption. Okay, we have rice pyramid now. Land of rice pyramid. Thank you. Have a good night, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you.